Oops. Good evening everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I thought we'd do a page in fairy tales, well dark fairy tales actually, by Kerby Rosanes. And I'm going to start with a simple one. And I'm going to do, well, the ugly ducklings this page. And this is where it turns into a magnificent swan and it is kicked butt from all those bullies. So I'm going to go in with prisms for the background because it's broken up into lots of little sections. Should make it easier to do. And then I'm thinking either watercolour or Neocolour, or Neocolour 2 that is, or some watercolour pencils or something like that for the swan. So at the moment I've only got 3 pencils out. I've got cobalt turquoise, aquamarine and light aqua, and I think if we make this background a statement colour, like really bright. I'm sorry about this shadow here. This is my tripod holding my camera up. I'm in my bedroom, not in my office tonight. And yeah, we go for a bold background, then we can focus on soft, beautiful feathers for our swan. I think that'd be really nice. And then the green aqua colours will go fantastic with the bright of the beak. And also we're going to have a bit of drab stuff with all these bones about, aren't we? So if we go in with cobalt turquoise to start with, and I'm just looking where I want to go. So I'm going to come in here and we're going to make this a stark contrast against our swan. I was thinking of red, you know, for danger, or the other words that you're not allowed to say on YouTube. Begins with a B and ends with a D. But I just think this will match so much better. Okay, and we're just gonna switch between these colours, so excuse my thumb a minute. I'm delayed in starting because, well, delayed in getting it to you because I had started the Jack and the Beanstalk page, but then quickly realised that it was going to take an eternity to get it up to you. So it's here. This is how I'd started it. It's on video, so I mean if you do want to see it I can finish it on video. It's just going to be, it's not a quick job at all. And so I realised that actually that was probably just to get the beanstalk done was going to take days, and I'd promised a video to you guys. So we could get 2 out of it, it's not a problem. But then I was looking through the book and I like the Red Riding Hood page, I love that. And it's a really intricate book. I would say probably Kerby's most intricate, other than the, you know, the little doodly bits in his older books, but it is a really intricate book. So if you're picking it up thinking that you're going to be able to do it quickly, I would say not. Okay, so that was cobalt turquoise. Let's switch into a little bit of aquamarine. We'll jump backwards and forwards between them. And just take this. I've actually literally come in and picked the biggest part there is to colour, haven't I? But the rest of it should be fairly straightforward, really. I'm just going to switch between these colours. I might even add an even lighter colour. A little bit of maybe a paler blue or something to fit with the sky, perhaps. But you want to keep going until you see that you've got enough of that, the aquamarine to sort of stand alone as its own colour away from the cobalt turquoise. Can you see that, the difference in colour? So my office is coming along, but the husband's in bed. So that's why I'm filming in this bedroom. Because the bedroom's right next to my office, so... Okay. So it's a bit rough at the moment, I know, but we'll come backwards and forwards. Okay, now we're going to come in with a little bit of light aqua. I'm going to start to close in this gap here in the centre. I need to... Some drunk people outside. Very naughty. They've had too much adult pop. Okay, and then I'm going to bring up this cobalt turquoise into this section. So I'm going to come basically around the swan, I think, with the cobalt turquoise. So when we do those little pale feathers, she stands out. Now, I could do her like so she looks really mean, like a black swan. However, I do feel, I'm not condoning this, by the way, but I do feel that she'd obviously had enough. Enough was enough, being bullied all that time. Okay, and then, so we're just going to switch backwards and forwards. That was cobalt turquoise, in with the aquamarine. And it does take a little bit of playing with. We just have a sip of my tea before it goes completely cold. It does take a bit of playing with to get it right. Back to that light aqua. Obviously this is the ugly stage, and I will keep going over it and smoothing it out, but I want to get the placement right first. Okay, I'm going to come up a little bit higher with this, the light aqua, and then we're going to mix in a bit of blue, I think. What blue have we got that's really lovely and soft? Where's all the really light, soft ones? Here. Okay. Let's try some sky blue light. Let's try a bit of that. Yes, that's going to work. blends beautifully with that light aqua look. But we can soften it out as we get towards the sky. And my theory being is that she is harsh. She has done a terrible thing. She's committed the M word. Words I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, because that's what they search for when they do all their checks and things, and I'll get banned. She has done a terrible thing, but so what we do is, as we get away from her, we come back to normality and calm towards the sky. That's what my silly little brain is thinking. So the world gets calmer and softer, away from the chaos here. Okay, so let's go back in and let's tidy that up now. So I'm going to make sure I've got that cobalt turquoise in there, nice and dark. In here. We don't always need to use red to show complete chaos and drama, do we? And then what this will help to do also is, because we've got such a dark, strong colour around our swan, when we put the soft colours of feathers in for the swan, we can give that illusion of soft beauty, and we're just using a very few colours. They're all very, when you think about some of these children's stories, they're all really quite dark, aren't they, some of them, you know? Well, the ugly duckling wasn't. That was quite a, well, I suppose it addresses bullying, but not really, does it? I mean, nobody helped her fix it. She just became beautiful when she grew up. As a child, she suffered horrendously. So, and then you've got obviously the, I was going to say Hans Christian Andersen, but it's not. What's the dark fairy tale stories like Red Riding Hood? Who's that by? Oh, it'll come to me. But, you know, all those ones, they're really dark stories, aren't they? You know, she'd gone into the forest to feed her grandma, who was poorly, and ended up being eaten by a wolf. What in the world? But as kids, we lapped them up, didn't we? We loved them. Okay, light aqua. I still can't think of them. It'll come. Brothers Grimm, there you go. All of a sudden it popped in there. The Brothers Grimm fairy tales. Oh dear. They're very dark. Okay, and then this is that sky blue light that we've introduced. So just, we can use it to blend. And smooth out our previous work. Yeah, Brothers Grimm fairy tales, wow. Like Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, they're really dark. And let's face it, seriously, would you sit and make up a story like that and tell your children that? Not really. They used to tell such awful tales to scare children into submission and behaving, didn't they? Maybe didn't think about, you know, less sitting in a corner being quiet, speak when you're spoken to and all that kind of jazz, and maybe more communication with their children. Anyway, that is going to be our background. I'm going to come back in with a little bit more light aqua and just darken that up into that transition of calm up here. Isn't that pretty? It's going to be lovely, I think. And then any blending I'm going to do with that sky blue light, because it will keep that green tone for us, but also pick up on the soft colour that we've gone into at the top here. So hopefully, picking up on what I said, to the chaos is all round here, and it calms as it gets towards the normal sky. There we go. So it's going to take some while to blend it all smoothly, but just take your time. Enjoy the process. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way around our swan, as we have done, around the wing, just so we get that really dramatic effect against our swan. I think that's my cup knocking, sorry. I'm working on my little hospital bed table. It's been such a godsend, I spend hours on it. Because I don't stay asleep very long when I do go to sleep these days because of my back and hip. I'm falling apart, folks, falling apart, I tell you. Okay. Yes, I've gone over there a little bit, but I'm not too fussed because I will be using a paint pen at the end. And there won't be anything on this page you can't do if you don't have Neo colours or whatever I come in with. Could even be a bit of watercolour, I don't know. Just as a base. So you'll be able to come back with, if you don't have that, you'll be able to use your pencils anyway. Most sets have these colours in, don't they? Sorry about the traffic out there. It's been glorious in the UK. So I've got my bedroom window open. And obviously we live on a main road. Oh, I hate it. When we first moved in here 20 odd years ago, well, it must be nearly 30 now. Yeah, it must be. The traffic wasn't nearly half as bad as this. It drives me insane, this road. Okay, and then in with the aquamarine. And then we'll just blend it through. Like we've done, we'll get softer and softer. as we come away from our deranged swan here. He's kicking butt. But I think if you can imagine the softness of the swan, and then just we're going to have that stark orange beak there, it's going to be beautiful. I didn't want to do anything softer in the background. I wanted a dramatic colour. A, to pick out the drama of the page, but B, because everything else is going to be dull. We're going to have bones, and then, well, she's not going to be dull, but you know what I mean, like pale. And we've got the feet as well, they can be orange, so that will poke out nicely there, bit of orange. Okay, and then light aqua. Sorry, I was just looking at my pencils and thinking, did I have a fake set? Because my Prismacolor, the name is like down here. But no, I'm being thick. It's because obviously as you sharpen the pencil, Lucy, they get shorter. So of course the name becomes a bit... such an idiot sometimes. A lot of the time. Okay. And I'll just keep blending those two colours, or three colours, four colours in a minute, until everything's smooth. All the tooth of the paper's filled up, there's no more white left. And like here, we won't get that blue in. We'll have to stay in the chaos, this part of the page here. Don't shut down on me. I need the extra light. My tablet was waiting to shut down. How rude. Did I tell you to do that? No. If I'm working, you're working. Okay, and then that, oh, we need a little bit of light aqua in here. There we go. And then the sky blue light. Where you can't fit, you know, like when her wings come to the edge and you can't fit all the colours in, don't worry about it, just get in there what you can, what colours you can, because we want that dramatic cobalt turquoise around her to really stand out. Back to my light aqua a little bit here. There we go. And then we're just going to keep going. So I don't want to make you suffer while I sit here going round and round and redoing the same bits we've done to get it smooth. But that's all it's going to be. Easy, easy, easy. Full colours, and we've got a lovely effective background, I think anyway. I think it's going to be effective. The light aqua you can blend with too. There. Gosh, it looks really blue on camera. It's definitely not. You know it's not from the colours I've got, but... So I will just keep going. I'm going to work my way around our swan. From dark, all the way around the swan, really dark, and then coming out like we've done here. Just all the way around the page. And then I'll be back to show you the results and for us to carry on. So it should be a really enjoyable page that's not too taxing on our brains, on my brain. I shouldn't generalise everybody else as needing to not have a taxing page. Okay, so I'm going to go and get this done. And I'll meet you back here with whatever supplies we're going to use. I don't know. I'll see how I feel, whether I want to risk water mediums or just, you know, I don't know. I'll be back shortly, whatever. See you in a minute. Right, oh, excuse me. I've finished the background. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. It's very dramatic. I might do a little bit of burnishing with a blending pencil, but I'm sorry about the shadow. If I do that, is that any better? A bit better. So we're going to have a look at our swan's feathers. So I've got an array of colours here. I've got rosy beige, which is our very darkest and limited colour. Then I've got grey lavender, 30%, it is 30, yeah, 30% French grey and cloud blue. And a lot of white Posca. So let me work this out. Okay, so if we come in, if you look at Kerbey's work, he does a lot of dark hatch lines to indicate where shadow will be. So we can use that to follow. I'm going to bring you in, I'm going to move you over so that my words can go on the page and bring you in a little closer. And we're going to put this very lightly, this rosy beige, in our dark spots. I'm doing it lightly because I don't want to overdo it. But quite often if you look at things that are, well, if you look at things that are white, they're not just white, there's lots of other colours in them. And so that's what I'm going to try and portray, is a little bit more colour going on. Okay, so we've got that little bit of rosy beige there. We can have a little bit coming up here too, around that eye. Wow, she looks mad. Okay, we're going to blend that through with a tiny bit of grey lavender. Grey lavender is a really good shadowy colour. And then we're going to come in with that 30% French grey. Which is a warm grey, it's got a more brown undertone. So we're just going to take her one section at a time. And then we're going to put some of the cloud blue in, which will indicate like she's picking up colour from her surroundings. I know it sounds weird, but we might even want a little bit of like a subtle yellow, like a jasmine, I think. Let me get jasmine. Okay, and just a hint of that, maybe round here. on our real light areas. Just so we get a bit of, what we'll have is, and then I'm going to white Posca places. So I'm going to take out the dark lines basically. So I'm hoping that, well, I know that the white Posca will then show up really stark against that, which will be great. So I'm going to come in here, back with our rosy beige. Yes. Well done, Loopsy, you managed to get the name right. I keep saying to people, never listen to what I say words-wise for pencils, because I just get them all mixed up. I think when you're using a variety of pencils, you tend to, they all sort of blur into one. So I'm going to pull this rosy beige out underneath here, and just so places like where Kerbey's indicated that it's much darker. And already look, she's getting some form, some depth. And I just follow Kerbey really, I just let him take the lead. He's the professional here. Okay, and then pull that out, a little bit of grey lavender. So the background took me just over 2 hours to complete, just so in case you were wondering how long these things take to do. A long time. I've sat here, got YouTube playing, and then you just sort of zone out and enjoy it. Okay, then the soft, the French grey, that nice soft grey. We don't need to fill everything up. Okay, and then the cloud blue. Oh yeah, done it again. Clever girl. These are small achievements for me, people. Small achievements. You have to celebrate the small wins, don't you? Okay, so we've got a little bit of that cloud blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of jasmine just on this edge here. Just a little bit. And we'll have a little bit there as well. Just so it's like picking up the light. Okay, and then for the wings, let's do the same. So a little bit of rosy beige on those dark spots. A little bit of grey lavender. Cloud blue. And that tiny bit of warm grey, or French grey, sorry. Like that. So that'll be all the feathers. And we need to look at the main bony part of the wing as well. So let's come in at the bottom with the rosy beige here. I mean, she might start to look a little bit dark, but when we get white on the outline and highlighting feathers and things, she won't. but then with all that movement there would be quite a lot of shadow and things going on. That's the French grey. A little bit of that blue. And then a tiny highlight of jasmine in places where the light might hit. And that's just really for a little bit of added interest. It's not, you don't have to put the jasmine in if you don't want to. But I do think it looks pretty, particularly against that turquoise. Okay, this bit. So we'll have rosy beige down the bottom here. And in those wings, don't forget, on the dark spots, feathers, sorry. See, that's why I say never listen to what I'm saying. When it comes to instructions, always follow what's on the screen. I am very meticulous about making sure I get my pencils right on screen because of my scrambled brain fog. Okay, we'll have a little bit more rosy beige here. Then we'll bring in that greyed lavender. And that lovely soft warm grey, 30%. French grey it is, but I'm saying warm because it is warm, but French grey. And then we need to get that blue in there, so I'm going to pull that blue in on the light side where there's no hatch marks. They are majestical creatures, aren't they, swans? Scary if you get up close to them because they're massive, but majestical nonetheless. And then I want more blue here. And then I think we'll add a tiny bit of the jasmine. Along the top there. Yeah. I think. And then the same round here. So, could you see all that? I hope so. I only did this bottom half because those wings are going to be the same as those ones. Feathers are going to be the same as those ones. So, we'll get that rosy beige in here. In the dark parts of the feathers. Can you see? Yeah. Greyed lavender. The French grey. And of course that blue, which changes things up there completely, look. A bit more in that leg. On that mass of feathers there. A bit more rosy beige. And then the idea being, when I've done all of these feathers, we will put a load of white in. I hope you can pick up on those colours. We'll put a load of white pen in. We can have some jasmine. There we go. Alright, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I hope so. I want some more blue showing up down here, so that when we put the white in, there's colour there. Alright, so let's go and do all our feathers. I'll let you know how long it takes me. And then, so all the feathers on here as well, following Kerbey's dark spots, and then I'll meet you back here when I'm done. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so I thought I'd bring you back in. I'll just move this out of the shadow. I hope you can see the colours in there. So, I've been playing, and I've got a white Posca, my other one's dying, and I've got a Tule Art pastel pen. It's from the pastel set number 2. I love this pen, it's so versatile. So what I've done is taken the Tule Art number 2 and taken out this edge, the dark edge that we put the rosy beige on, like that. Such good fun. So we get that, get to keep the darker bit. It comes out nice beige colour against that rosy beige. And then pull in that white. And I'm trying to stay away from the blue if I can, so it doesn't turn the Posca blue. And then just put a few flicks in. Can have that white bit down the centre. There we go. Right, so I can come round his face. I wanted to wait until we were together to do that. I'm going to come round his neck. Like that. And we'll use the Tule Art one to come round this side, because that's where we put the darkest part. Like that. And then we can pick out just some little white highlights on there. Give us some, him or her, some nice feathers. Right, there's one sec. Okay, sorry about that. I'm right next to the bathroom, so if anybody goes to the toilet, you can hear it. Nobody needs to hear that. Okay. So I'm just carrying on with these little white bits. So we'll do the same on the neck as well. Bring out a little bit of detail. I'm just following what Kerbey's done really, just putting those little swooshes in, but just not everywhere. So you can see those colours really standing out that we put in now. We can put a few little Tulle Art swooshes in as well. Have to be a bit more careful with Tulle Art. It's not as fine as the Posca edge on the pens. But I think she'll end up looking beautiful. And we'll use the Tulle Art one for this bit around here because that's the darker spot. And then we're back into more feathers again. So then I'm taking my white and I'm just going to pick out some little highlights on these little bits that we filled in together earlier. And you think, oh, it's not making that much difference, but actually when you come back and you have a look at that detailing, it really helps. I think it does. I hope you do too. I've been I must do a flip through of this book. I was sent a book, I don't know who sent it to me, from Amazon France, and I'm in love. And I've been doing just lots of colouring with all my Tulle Art, well, all my paint pens. And it's just so relaxing and therapeutic. I love it. So I must show you that. So I've done one page, I'm now doing a second because I just love it so much. So I'm switching to the Tulle Art because we're darker down here, and put a few of these little beige swooshes in. You can plop some in here too. It just softens off that edge. You know, where we take the edge out, softens that off and gives our swan a bit of texture, a bit of feathering. Okay, we'll do Tulle Art round the leg. Switch back to the white. This pen splats on me, so I'm going to have to be very careful with it. I think I have a tendency with the fibromyalgia to grip things really hard, and then in gripping things really hard I inadvertently push down hard, which is not good when you've got a Posca pen that you pump. So that's how I'm doing it, really. Any dark spots I'm going in with the Tulle Art. So on the dark side of the feather I'm coming in with the Tulle Art. So we get more of a beige look. Softening it off with a few flicks of the Tulle Art. And if it's too much, just gently dab, which will soften it off. And yeah, lots and lots of fun. So I don't know if I can zoom out. Oh, there we go. Zoom out a bit further. So that's what it's going to look like. I hope that you can see that it picks up all those colours. There. I'm so sorry about it. It's the arm of my, it's my camera's here, and then it's the arm of my tripod that's holding it up. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to go off and play and have lots of fun with all the other feathers, doing it all the same and just having lots of fun. So I'll see you when I've done it. Okay, you lovely lot. So I've finished the feathers and things, and I took out number 11 of the same set, pastel set, which is Iceberg. And because I'd lost a lot of the blue, I've just been filtering that in, you know, doing a little bit, taking a step back and having a look. You could do this if you've got a very soft gel pen, or you could even use like powder blue. And I've just been filtering some of this Iceberg in so we get that blue bit back, because I'd lost it in that cloud blue had got lost in all my excitement of using paint pens. So I've just sort of filtered it back in a little bit, just in little places, just so we get that hint of blue coming through. There we go. Alright, I'll finish faffing off camera. I'll bring you back in and we're going to have a look at feet. It's all very exciting, this feet business. Okay, so I've got warm greys here. I've got 90, sorry about the camera wobbling, 90, 70 and a bit of putty beige. So I'm going to go in with my 90. And again, following Kerby. Going to put that 90 in, that'll help me cover up that little bit of turquoise there. Okay, then I'm going to come in with the 70. And then some putty. Bit more of the 90. Back in with that 50. And then I'm coming back to my jasmine again, and I'm going to put some jasmine in here. There we go. Let's do the other foot. Okay, so the 90. Sorry about the traffic. It is 2:15 in the morning, hence the very lovely pyjamas. And it's still busy, this road. It just never stops. Oh, for my little Irish stone cottage. In the middle of nowhere. The 50, is it 50 or 70? 70, sorry. And the putty. And then jasmine. bit more putty. And we'll go back in. I'm just going to deepen up some of those areas. Like that. And jasmine again. Just want to brighten them up a little. There we are. Okay, so beak. I've got a picture here. Just make it bigger. Okay, so we want a really bright orange. Wow, why don't we go with orange? Orange and a darker orange. Bit of poppy red, and then we want some yellowed orange, and maybe even a little bit more of some yellowy colour. What's this one? Lemon yellow. Okay, let's go with that. So I'm going to come in with the poppy red. Now I know that's very, very dark, but it is an orangey red. We can get those dark bits in. Oh my gosh, this road. And then the orange. Which looks even more evil now. And then the yellowed orange. And a bit of the canary yellow, which is very bright, but it should look really cool. We'll go over this with yellow. And then we get that yellowed orange. And go over that lightly. There we go. Okay, so we can go back in now with a bit more poppy red. And the orange. And the yellowed orange. Okay, I think I'm going to put a little bit of yellowed orange in the feet too. In this bit of webbing. I'll have a little bit of that. So it's not so dowdy. How about that? And maybe even a tiny bit of the poppy red in between those toes. A little bit on those claws, because she has just torn a load of animals apart, or other birds apart, like that. And that was the poppy red and the orange I'm going back in with. Just want to make it really bright. So it's complete contrast to everything else we've got going, which is why I've put some on these feet. I think it's better than just having them flat colour. Okay, let's come out and have a look now. There we go. Alright, now I have to go off and think about the colours we're going to do to put in these like reeds, and then we can do the bones. Yeah, so I'll be back when I've had a good think about that. See you in a minute. Right, I've got the bone colours we're going to try. So I've got light umber, sambar brown and the putty beige, but we might need a little bit of beige too, so we'll see how we go. So let's start with this skull. So I'm going in with the light umber, which is going to be our darkest colour, and again following Kerbey's lead, putting it in the dark spots. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll bring you in. We're miles away, aren't we? Here we go. There we go. So the light umber following Kerbey's spots, or Kerbey's indications should I say, not spots. Okay, then we're going to come in with that sambar brown. Putty beige over that, which will tone it down and smush it out. And then we're going to fill in with some beige. Oh, I thought I'd just put my hand in wet pen, but I haven't done any more. There we are, let's do another one. So light umber, sambar brown, putty over the browns, and then beige. And then I think I will Tule art those two with, again, with just the number 2, and take out that top edge. It's so versatile. I do love this colour. And around here. A little bit in there. And there we go. And we've got a skull. Let's do the same on this little bone. It's like a wing bone floating about in the ether. Apparently, in fairy tale land, that's what you get if you're a bully. No rehabilitation, you just get smashed to pieces. There we go. Little bones. Let's do the spine. Okay. So the light umber. Can you see? Yeah. Light umber. Sandbar. I know I was going to use some water mediums, but I got carried away with my Tulle Arts and playing, and I just enjoy it, you know. It's what our colouring's for, isn't it? Just having fun and enjoying it. And then the beige. And it all gets softened off with a tiny bit of Tulle Art. Yeah, so as you've seen, I absolutely adore working with my paint pens. So to colour a page with them, oh my goodness, it's just a joy and so relaxing. And there we go, a spinal column too. So I'm going to go and colour all of the bones. I don't think there's that much in here, to be fair. We've got a bit of spine there, and 2 skulls, looks like a foot, and that. So not that much, it won't take long. So I will go off and colour all of the bones in, and then I'll come back and we'll have the reed colours that are going to go on the background too. So I will see you in a minute. Okay, home stretch people. So I looked up online some colour palettes, and we've got the colours that go together, but it also says olivey limes go with this colour palette. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to bring you back in, and we're going to choose some of these leaf bits, and we're going to do that. So I've got olive green, I've got a bit of Kelly green, and I've got some lime peel. So we're going to bring those greens in. I've really enjoyed doing this page. I've missed doing the Kerbster. You've got to love a bit of Kerbster. So we've got some olive. We're going with a bit of Kelly just to help with the transition. And then we'll bring in lime peel. Can't get more limey than that. A bit more olive. There we go. All right. Let's bring up the olive like that on this one. Can you see? Yeah. And a bit of Kelly. And the lime. Back in with that olive and just deepen up some of that. Do the same on this one that I forgot to do. It's just nice and simple. And we've done the hard part, folks. All the hard part's done. We've just got some relaxing reeds to do. There we are. That's shadow, so let's colour over Kerbey's with the olive. Let's just shadow off that leaf, and so are these. Okay. Kelly. Just a little bit of Kelly. I don't want it to look too green, if you know what I mean. I want to stick with these olive into lime colours. Yeah, that looks cool. Yes, I am a 70s baby and cool is still in my vocabulary. My apologies. What do you think? Have I alleviated any fears of Kerby Rosanes being a nightmare to colour? I know people are worried about it because he's so intricate, and we've done a simpler page, but I think hopefully I've been able to give you, you know, enough on why I think Kerby is really easy to colour. If you stick with his placement of darks and shadows, just do one little section at a time of everything. Hopefully I've shown you that it can be really simple. Keep the colour palette simple. Well, you don't have to. It's nice to throw in a load of colours, but there we go. We've got some olivey lime reeds. So I'm going to go off and colour all of those, and then I'll meet you back here when hopefully our page is complete and I'm happy. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, my lovelies, we are finished. I am plastered. Look at the state of me. I've had a blast. I've really enjoyed it. What do you think? Do you like it? I hope so. I do. I'm really pleased with it. It's lovely and bright, and I think doing that background like we talked about at the beginning has really brought out the colours of the bird. Now if you don't have the Thule Arts, I suggest instead of maybe cloud blue put the cloud blue in, but put some powder blue in to bring out that blue back in your bird, because I'd lost it. But I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun, and I've missed a little bit of outlining on that bone, so I have to go back and do that in a minute. But yeah, thank you for joining me and tackling our first Kerby page. I do like it. I did think about this one too, but there is so many different birds on here. It would take like a million years, I think, to colour it on camera to show you what I'm doing. And I've missed a bit of leaf there. I will get it finished. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. And I've got the new colouring book that I want to show you, and I got I was gifted the Brambley Hedge colouring book too, so I might come back on Monday and do a little, on our mini Monday series, do a little little colouring in there maybe, or I'll select something else, because I just wasn't getting the views on my lovely Raider Prince book. It just didn't take off at all. So we'll try doing a short colouring on Monday and see how that goes. But thank you for your love and your support. So until we meet again next time, take really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.